Yo, 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 what is going on? Welcome into another episode of the Dynasty Dogs podcast brought to you by Win Daily. I'm your host, Rich McAteer. Alongside me, as always, my trusty sidekick, Michael Anthony. What's going on, Michael?
How you doing? I hope I'm a little bit more than a friggin' Zy. We're like the Justice League. I ain't no goddamn Robin in
Okay,
this.
you could be Superman and I could be Batman, or vice
No,
versa.
no, no, no,
But
no. Okay, no, hold on.
no,
I'm
no, no, no,
not
no, no, no,
being.
no.
No, I'm not being Superman. No. All right,
Fine.
we gotta fix this. All right, we can go. Let's go instead of Justice League because Batman's like the coolest one on there. We're gonna go Avengers. You could be what? Captain America,
No, I want to be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. All right, I will be. Let's see. I guess I would go with probably Thor. I guess
Okay.
because I'm not like smart or rich enough to go Tony Stark or Iron Man. So, uh,
Thor in the last movie, or
definitely Thor in the last movie,
where
100%.
he's a big
Yeah,
fatty.
yeah. I would definitely retire and move to like somewhere in Norway and just get really fat. But yeah, went
Well,
off a little off the topic there, but I wasn't gonna let you just let me be Robin in this situation.
we
All
got
right,
a
go
lot
ahead.
to get into. We got a lot to get into. We got a lot of coaching firings. Some surprising, some not so much. We got the playoffs, of course, and we're going to break down a dynasty rookie mock draft that we came up with earlier this week. Yeah,
We
so we got a lot to get into. What is it?
yeah.
So we're going to pretty much go over what we thought was the most shocking and not shocking of the coaching firings. And I guess, Mike, you want to start it off? Or what's your most shocking, I guess you could say,
You want to go with
or
most
least
shocking
shocking?
first?
Either one. Surprise me.
All right, let's. I mean, I guess since you want me to surprise you, we'll go with the most shocking. I think Pete Carroll being let go from his position at Seattle was very surprising, in my opinion. I didn't really see that coming. They did
Right.
say he could still play a role in this organization. Who knows what that is, or who knows if that's what he wants to do? Because I did see a thing that he did, like a post, like a what's it called, exit interview with the media, and it
Mm-hmm.
seems like he's not 100% sure what he wants to do
Right.
just yet.
Well, I think as far as that goes, he has 1 year left on his deal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, he's been there 14 years. Right, so they're not going to be like, well, get the hell out. They're going to honor the last year of his contract. He's going to be up in the front office unless he gets offered a coaching position. But it seems like that he wants to continue coaching. So if he does take a job, that wouldn't surprise me. But it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't surprise me if he stays in Seattle. You 14 years, your heart grows fond of a place. But yeah, that was a surprising one, but not as surprising as the one that surprised me the most.
Which one
And
surprised you the most?
it's not a firing. I'm
Oh,
going to throw a
mutual
screwball in
parting
here.
of ways.
Yeah, no, Nick Saban.
Oh yeah, Nick
How
Saban.
about that?
Okay.
So out of all the NFL firings and resign and all of that, I'm going to go Nick Saban trumps all of them, I think.
Yeah, I could agree with that. That's a good one.
I was like, that was one I looked at my phone. I'm like, holy shit. Like, who the
Mm-hmm.
hell is going to like that? That's me. I looked at it. I'm like, damn, Alabama was powerhouse for so long, pumping out prospects too. Well, everyone's like, oh, transfer, 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 transfer.
I wonder.
Um,
I wonder if they saw this coming because they hired a new coach already
like right
today.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
today.
the guy from Washington, right?
Washington. Yeah, I forgot. I'm blanking on his name. Let me pull that up real quick. But yeah, I did not see that coming. It would be hilarious if him and somebody else swap positions. Like, he goes to New England, and then the next person
Right.
I think we're going to talk about
How
goes to
old is
Bama.
he?
Kalen
Nick.
DeBoer, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
former Washington coach is now the coach of Alabama.
Right.
I guess he said, you know what? Michigan beat me, but I'm just going to go destroy the SEC, hopefully.
Right. I mean,
He seems like a good coach.
But are they going to be the same Alabama? You know what I mean? Nick Saban's
is
been
there
there
really,
since.
no matter who they would have hired, I think Alabama without Nick Saban is very odd.
Yeah,
I think it's very, very odd.
I agree with that. Yeah, he's been there since 2007. it's just a long time. But like I feel like that with him leaving, that takes a lot of recruits away from that school as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of levels the playing field, I guess, in the SEC. Although we've seen schools like Georgia come on in the SEC, just kind of to battle with Alabama for the longest
Texas
time. It's
now
just
too.
been for the longest time. It's just been Alabama, but they're slowly losing the edge. And now with him leaving, I think
They
it's like
could.
it's a
I don't think they're going to be a back end college football team by any means.
no.
I think they can
Of,
maybe. I think it's fair to say Georgia has overtaken them, like you were saying.
yeah,
I would say they might be the second or third best team in the SEC now, without Saban.
yeah.
I
Do you
mean,
think?
although let's say the dude from Washington is a pretty damn good coach, so it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
pinpoint it.
Well, so do you think the kind of overtaking Georgia has been until this past season with their last regular season loss that kind of pushed them out. Georgia kind of nudging out Alabama. Do you think that had any influence on Nick Saban leaving? Did you think he lost kind of a grip on the SEC?
I mean, I don't know. He's a bit older, so I think he was just probably, he's done everything at this
Yeah.
point. I think maybe it was just time. I felt like he could have just said it's time for me to step aside. I thought he was going to be in the nursing home, still coaching Alabama.
So did
But
I, dude. And you know what? Let me check. There is one thing he hasn't done:
what's that?
win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, yeah, that ain't
And
happening.
he's a guy that strikes me like he's almost like he's like the to me first thing I think of is like he's the Ric Flair of coaching or football in general. I feel like he's going to be 1,000 years old and it's like I ain't fucking leaving. Like
No,
I'm staying, dude.
you know what I think of when I think of Nick Saban,
Mm.
this is probably what happened. Like, hey, Nick Saban, are you coming back next year? And he was like, I'm not going to. So quit asking.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
don't know.
favorite video.
I just see him as like a perpetual football guy. Like that he's.
Mhm.
It's like, what is he going to do? What is he going to go gardening? Like, is he just going to stay at home with his garden or something? Like, you don't. What? I don't get it. I don't know
Him
what
and the
he's going to
other
do.
him and the other coaches that got let go or fired are going to form a podcast together.
Good.
That
Something to
would
do
be
with football.
yeah. Do you want to get to the next one?
So what am I going to do? Not surprising.
I guess we're pretty much. I mean, I would say Bill Belichick is not surprising, but it's probably super weird. The fact
Mm-hmm.
that he's not going to be in a New England Patriots hoodie on the sidelines
Yeah.
going forward. I think that might be the strangest one that we saw coming, if that makes sense. Like,
Right.
there'd been reports for a couple months now. We had talked about on our previous podcast where there was going to be kind of like a mutual parting of ways, and
Right.
that's what happened. But to think Bill's not going to be the Patriots head coach is just almost seems like blasphemy. Like Tom Brady's not there anymore. Bill Belichick's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird. It is
So
really weird.
let me ask you this, and I wanted to put this on Twitter, but I forgot. Maybe I'll do it after the episode. What do you think? I got to try to word it correctly. Make a poll. So, what do you think is more weird? Seeing Tom Brady in a Buccaneers uniform or going to see New England sideline without Bill Belichick on it?
I want to say Belichick not on the sideline because I feel like we've had a few years now of Brady not being in New England
Yeah.
and winning a Super Bowl without and not being in New England, that it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
that happened. But
Yeah.
I think I felt like Belichick was going to retire there. And after we talk
Yeah.
about these, I feel like we should sidebar. I feel like we should kind of predict their next moves, like the guys were
You can do
talking
that.
about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that is super strange to me that he's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. For me, it's going to be, I think, Tom Brady being in another uniform. It's always been kind of like that. It's like you see Twitter threads. It's like post a legend in a weird uniform, or like you know what I mean. So they'll show like Peyton Manning in a Broncos uniform, or Allen
I know
Iverson in like in a Memphis Grizzlies uniform, but like Tom Brady in a Bucks uniform, so weird.
my weirdest one is Brian Dawkins in a Broncos uniform.
Ooh, yeah, that was just gross.
Yeah,
And
it
that
was.
was gross and gross negligence because it was like they were like, nah, we're not gonna nah. And then
Mhm.
it's like Broncos are like, here you go.
Do
Like it's
you
just
think so? We're gonna do this rookie mock draft exercise at the end of this, but do you think, or do you feel New England's definitely going to be taking a new quarterback in this upcoming draft? They have the third pick. Yeah, the third pick in the draft. Do you think they stay put, take maybe who's available? Do you think they move up? Because, we're going to talk about the rookie draft where I kind of threw players in different spots. But do you think the new regime is going to go and get their guy?
I think you're going to see a totally new style of football now with Gerard Mayo getting the job. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I forgot they hired
yeah,
Mayo. That's awesome for him, by
and
the way.
good because I remember him as a player and he was vicious. I thought he
Mhm.
was one of the the best linebackers I've ever seen.
Right.
He would hit your helmet right off, but kind of hard nosed football that he plays, but more so, and I think this gets overlooked a lot. Bill Belichick fucking stinks at drafting. He
Mm-hmm.
was like the
I think
worst.
that's why they were like,
Like I'm like, they're like, it's like that episode of South Park. He's like, I didn't hear no bell. Like they're like 24 years of just like drafting like no one I've ever heard of. Chad Jackson will always like be in my mind the wide receiver, and I'm like,
my thing is they probably saw them having a third overall pick, and they were like, we are not letting him take a long
dude,
snapper from North Dakota
right? Like
University.
who do you? So let's compare real quick. I guess we're getting off topic here, but
That
who
tends
do
to
you
happen.
think? Who do you think? Yeah, who do you think Bill would take as opposed to who do you think Gerard Mayo would take?
Um, dude, I don't know. I think they would. I would like to think they would take a quarterback, but with Belichick, I can't.
Yeah,
I don't feel safe about anything. So
they'd
who
hit you with
knows what would be?
Max, our guy.
Yeah, yeah. We're on to 2024 is what he would say
Yeah,
with Mac Jones. Dude, I couldn't tell you. I think Mayo. I think they're going to let Mayo draft his guy,
I hope
whoever it's
so.
going to be.
I hope so. Maybe Drake May, but then again,
Yeah, I feel like that's. Yeah, I feel like that's a definite possibility. Again,
but
we're going to
if
talk about that a little bit later on in our mock
yeah,
as well. Do you want to
but
get to the
again,
next
then
one?
yeah. Um,
Arthur Smith.
but before I forget about it, if
Uh,
Harrison's there, baby, if he's in a Patriots,
please,
he's
God,
in
no.
Patriots uniform. I don't know what could be worse. There could be worse, and we'll get
True,
to that.
there
But there
could
could
be.
be worse.
But Arthur Smith being let go from the Arizona Cardinals at 12:01 on Monday was
How
like
salty is that, dude?
perfect. Perfect.
He's like,
I was not more excited for anything these past several weeks than Arthur Smith. Like, I don't want people losing their job. That's not what I'm saying. But from a
dude, I do.
fan,
That guy's dad owns FedEx.
oh yeah,
I don't
that's right.
get like he's gonna be fine, dude.
Yeah,
Trust me, he's fine. He's fine. I ordered a package the other day, dude. He's fine. He's good.
I I don't want people losing their jobs in reality, but like from a fantasy aspect, like
Mhm.
please let this work for Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. Obviously, they have to address the quarterback situation, but
Ritter stinks.
yeah, he does. They
He
have to. They
stinks, dude.
have to. They either have to draft one or they have to trade for one. And again, let's not get into the draft conversation again because we have
Right.
because we're gonna do it. We're gonna go right
Mhm.
into it again.
Right.
But Arthur Smith, in my opinion, now I could end up being completely wrong. It just I guess it depends on what happens next. But I felt like he was holding all three of those players back. Right. So if you were to tell me, if it was just Kyle Pitts and he ended up like not looking great, like okay. But the fact that there's three guys that are all
Mhm.
taking in the top half of the draft that
Oh, I
haven't
know. I
really
took 2 out of 3 of them.
that haven't really lived up to potential. There's more to that than just those players, in my opinion. It has to be coaching at that point.
Well, okay, so I can agree up to an extent. When it gets to the running back position with Bijan, I get it. But then we thought I think, at least I thought, that Atlanta shouldn't have taken Bijan to begin with, because they had Tyler Algier, who was a 1,000-yard rusher the year before. So you got two guys. You're kind of screwed. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you have Tyler Algier, who's a very good running back, who's proven himself with a 1,000-yard season, and then you're going to draft like the guy. You're like, well, I have to take him because he's there, and he's a generational talent. But where do you? It's like you got to split the carries. You want to try to create a two-headed monster. But when it gets to Kyle Pitts and when it gets to Drake London, and you're just like, hello, like, and they're just not giving them the ball. I
Mm.
don't get it. I don't get it, dude. And there's been how many games that they scored like 3 field goals? It was like,
Mhm.
wait, what
Or
was it? Like 9-0 last week
Mhm.
or the week before?
or Bijan gets like 6 carries, or Drake London gets 4 targets.
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts has 2. It's absolutely asinine that, whether you agree with the Bijan Robinson pick or not, you drafted him that high to not use him is
right.
asinine.
And right, and they're as consistent as pigeon shit in fucking Times Square. You know what I mean? It's all over the goddamn place. But I've been saying, like you said, whether you agree with it or not, I said that. How many times have I said that with the Falcons? They took Kyle Pitts because he was a freak athlete, when you should have drafted a quarterback. Like, they should have drafted a quarterback several years. They should have drafted a quarterback after Matt Ryan. You know what I mean? And they're
I
just like, well, Desmond Ritter's great, and he stinks.
I think they thought they had the talent around Ritter, and they do. In reality, they
They
do.
do. They absolutely do.
I just don't think they had the coaching around to make that work.
But then
If
again,
that makes sense.
Ritter makes silly mistakes.
Oh
He
yeah,
throws stupid
100%.
interceptions. You know what I mean?
But I
You
think they
can't
thought
coach
they could
that.
have. I think they thought they could get it done. Which, I mean, you can't fault them with the amount of talent they had.
Yeah,
They have a good offensive line. They have a very good skill position players in Bijan, London, and Pitts. We've already talked about them ad
right.
nauseum. But I think they thought they could get it done with Ritter, and it was just the wrong decision. And to be honest, at pick 1-8, the 3 quarterbacks were gone already. And then, they could have taken Will Levis, but maybe they didn't have him as high.
Right, but like, exactly, like, it's a great point. Like, what was Will Levis taking at 30? He was drafted
33,
4th,
33 or
30.
34.
I thought he was 39. Okay, so we're right where we think, right there. So why couldn't they have made that pick? You know what I mean? Like, why couldn't they have been like, you know what? That's a good move. That is a future move. They don't see that far ahead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they're like, we're just going to stick with Ritter, who stinks.
Mhm.
And now you're like, you got all these weapons, and it's like, what do I do now? Like, you know what I mean?
They have to move up to get a quarterback, or they could trade for one, which is
We
possible.
talked about this earlier, off air. I think they're going to trade for my boy
We'll talk about that
in Zach.
No, dude, stop. It's just,
What? You don't think so?
No, we got to get to the next coach. Otherwise, we're going to be.
They're book it. They're trading for Zach Wilson.
I think there's a better chance that they trade for a guy like Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields before Zach Wilson.
See, here we go, right off the trail. If Crazy Caleb says number 1 better be traded, whether that's true or not, then that means Justin Fields stays, and
True.
that means, what would you trade for? 30? What is he? 34, 35-year-old Kirk Cousins? I'm trading for 17-year-old Zach Wilson. Who's got a gun? Who's just been shit on in New Jersey, New Jersey, New York.
With the talent that Atlanta has, I think Kirk Cousins would work in Atlanta.
Yeah,
but
short term.
The next guy we got to talk about is Ron Rivera, and I think we both thought that was coming.
You know what, dude? I always liked Ron Rivera.
I do too. I really like Ron Rivera, the person. As a coach,
former Eagle.
Yeah, former Eagle. Great. He seems like a great person. He seems like the players really do like him. He can't get it done. He can't finish. You know what I mean? He just can't get it done.
Can't finish a job. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts in Washington that are just ass. Everything there is ass.
Dude, say that?
It's at the same time. I mean, but if you think about it, they traded their 2 best. They had I don't understand, like, how do you fuck up having 2 great defensive linemen, and they're like, you know what, let's move on. It's like they kind of like half moved on, but like half didn't move on.
I think those guys
and
I think those guys didn't really want to be there anymore. But let's talk about the position they are in and the position a coach is going to get. They have the second overall pick in the draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have multiple seconds, I believe. And I looked this up today because I saw it on Twitter earlier, and I looked it up. They have the most cap space in the league for this year. So they could make some moves that, maybe we don't see coming right now because it is the Washington Commanders. We don't really think of them as a very good organization, but there's also a new regime in that organization and a new coaching staff coming in. So there could be a lot that happens with that team.
Well, as far as the regime, you would say Josh Harris, Sixers owner, also he is like if I'm a player, I'm looking at it as this guy's a businessman. He don't give a shit. You know what I mean? He owns the Devils, he owns the Sixers, he owns the Commanders. Do you think he cares? I don't think he cares. I think he's trying to make money. I think he's trying to make as much money as humanly possible before he dies. You know what I mean? Like he's just buying and buying and buying and buying. Which whatever. That's what venture capitalists do. So does he give a shit? Not really. Will he put his money into it? Maybe.
He's going to put his money into it. I mean, you could say he's put his money into the Sixers. Has it really worked? I mean, well, obviously we're Philadelphia fans. He's put his money into the Sixers.
As far as, but like when I mean money, I mean not players. I mean like structurally. Like they need, dude. We've both been to that FedEx Field. That is a dump. I'd rather play at Wissinoming Boys Club than FedEx Field.
I could see them getting a new stadium at some point. I mean, the Sixers are getting one.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Does he have that much money? Dude, the renderings have already been put out for the Sixers. We're here first. Skip Bayless. It's my turn. It's my turn. The Sixers are getting it first, hopefully. I just feel like he just buys assets and he looks at people and teams as assets. So if I look at it like that, what makes the players not look at it that way?
I mean, they could, but again, he's signing their checks. I think he's going to try to put the best product out there. I mean, there's no doubt he's tried with the Sixers. Has it really worked? Not really, but I could see him throwing the money around for Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not. I hope they fail.
I really don't either. But when
I hope they fail so terribly that they move to somewhere in the middle of in the United States, and we don't have to deal with them anymore.
Yeah,
I hope they fail.
But like the thing is, like I said, they have the second overall pick. They have like $87 million in cap space or something like that, and they have multiple picks. So there could be a lot that happens that we just don't see coming just yet with Washington.
Right, I could see that, but like at the same time, like things that type of stuff always confuses me. Right, so even when go back to the New York Giants, you had Odell Beckham. They got rid of him for why? You had Barkley and you had young Daniel Jones. You had a young core three there. Same with Washington on the defensive side of the ball. You had Sweat and you had Chase Young, and then they're going to get rid of them. But then we have $87 million. So you're like getting rid of and to add again. It just doesn't make any sense. But
it could. But they might, they might just be making small moves to get younger with that $87 million too, like revamp the whole team because. Like I said, Chase Young and Montez Sweat didn't want to be there. Chase Young had never been healthy. Never.
Yeah, no. He never lived up to his what was he 2, 3?
Yeah, something like that. It was time for him to move on.
Yeah.
Montez Sweat, I mean he's
super confusing. He's like, I'm gonna move from one pile of shit to the other.
So let's real quick just go over like what do we think is next for these coaches? Do we think Ron gets another head coaching job? This year?
That'd be fun. First thought I'm always going to think of the only place he had success, which is conveniently the one place that has an opening.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And that's Carolina. Can I see him going back to Carolina? Yeah, I could see him going back to Carolina. If you think about the success he had with my favorite quarterback of all time and how he groomed Cam Newton into a fantastic mobile quarterback with a cannon, and Bryce Young, maybe he can work the same magic. That would be my first. If you're gun to my head, where do I think he goes? I think he maybe Carolina.
I don't think he is a head coach in 2024. I think
So
he's.
do you think he takes time off?
Yeah, I think he takes some time off. I
Okay.
think. I think there's just a stench around Ron right now as a head coach because it hasn't worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could see him taking a year off and kind of regrouping. Um, Pete Carroll, do you think he stays in Seattle?
If he's offered, if he's offered a job, I think he takes it.
Because I could tell you where I would really like for him to go. We talked about it for our dynasty rosters, where I would really like him to go.
I don't remember already, but I'm thinking Chargers.
I mean, that would be my second. Atlanta.
Yeah.
I would really like him in Atlanta. I really like for him to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons because of the way he likes to run the football and
Okay.
use his. He uses multiple backs. He
Time out. Time out.
what?
I'm sorry. You said he likes to run the football, except for in the Super Bowl. They're just gonna like,
True.
nah,
Yeah,
Marshawn.
true.
That's fine. I'm gonna throw this pick. Sorry.
True.
Proceed.
He really likes to run the football. Now he does do like a running back by committee thing, but he has a dominant back first, and then he
Yeah.
sprinkles in everybody else. And I think that would be just absolutely wonderful for Bijan Robinson. He DK Metcalf was extremely successful fantasy wise. I think Drake
Mm-hmm.
London could be that ilk. Maybe DK is a physical freak, like athletic
Yeah.
freak. Drake London's really not that guy, but I could see him working out in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Pete didn't really ever have a great tight end, but I could see Kyle Pitts benefiting. So I would really like Pete Carroll in Atlanta.
So in my thoughts on Pete Carroll in Atlanta, I would think he's 3 years old. I
Yeah.
think the only thing stopping him from going to Atlanta would be the unknown of the quarterback. The same as I think with Bill Belichick. I think he's going to go. Both of them are going to go somewhere with an established quarterback. So I think Pete may be like, I'm going to stay in the front office. Bill definitely, I think, is going to coach. So I think he's going to go somewhere. He's not going to go to Washington. I think he'd go somewhere. But
We forgot one. We forgot a coach. Finish this, and then because it just fucking came to me. Go ahead.
I don't think he's going to go to a place like Washington, a place like Atlanta, where they've got an unknown quarterback. They're in their 70s. They want to win. Bills 16 wins away from breaking Don Shula's record. I think they both go somewhere with an established quarterback, like a San Diego or an LA, that type of team. So I like your thought on Atlanta, except for the unknown of quarterback.
We forgot a really surprising head coach firing. Mike
Let me
Vrabel.
think. Oh yeah.
That was shocking to me.
I feel shocked right now.
Yeah, I was shocked by that one. I even saw like a quib that like the him and the GM really never saw eye to eye, and you could kind of tell by the AJ Brown move that that wasn't something Vrabel really was probably pounding the table for, and why would you? And then I saw something the effect that the GM wasn't even like in the room for the firing of Mike Vrabel or wasn't involved. So I think that's absolutely wild. I think the Titans organization is just an absolute dumpster fire right now. I think they're in over their head at GM for whatever reason. They just seem to be making like very questionable moves. And I think Mike Vrabel is probably on the top of that list when it comes to the moves that they've made that have made no sense to me, because that dude, I mean, they really faltered this year, but like that team is old. That team is, wasn't really built to win, in my opinion. They moved on from Byard. They moved on. I thought they were going to move on from Derrick Henry. I don't know why they didn't, but I just didn't really see them as a team that was like viable this year. So I don't know why they were just quick to pull the trigger on letting him go. It made no sense to me.
Well, yeah. How do you go? What is it? 2 years removed from winning Coach of the Year to
Fired. Yeah,
see ya.
that doesn't make sense.
I mean, between that and like
is stupid.
right, okay. I was going to say like that is one of the most underrated badly ran organizations. So you were just saying with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's leaving. You had a
Right.
chance to trade him, but you didn't. You're just like, it's okay. You can leave. Like, that's doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You got a guy, a relatively young guy, in Mike Vrabel, that you're just going to be like, okay, coach of the year, 2 years later, I'm going to cut you loose. We drafted 2 quarterbacks, and so like you kind of set them up to fail.
Mhm.
So you took Malik Willis. Then what? Then you draft Will Levis. You don't trade Derrick Henry. You're kind of like screwing this guy.
Right. I
And
think so too.
I think he lands on his feet quick though. I think
I think
he's
he
going to be
gets
hot.
scooped up.
Yeah,
I could see him getting scooped up. Since we were on that topic anyway, where do you see him going?
I could see Atlanta. I
That's
could
a good one.
see.
Although
I
don't
think
think they go. I don't think they.
go defensive.
No, I don't think they go Tennessee again because that's where Arthur Smith is originally from. I don't think they go up that route.
Wait, what?
Like, because wasn't Arthur Smith part of Rabel's coaching staff?
I guess so. I think so.
I
Yeah,
don't
he
thi-
was.
I-
He was in Tennessee.
Yeah,
So
I
you
don't
don't
see
think they
that.
swap?
I don't think they go that route again. No.
Okay.
I could
Carolina
see
maybe.
Carolina maybe. Chargers is another one I could see.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I don't see the Raiders hiring Pierce again, I think Vrabel would be a good one there too.
Yeah, I do see that, but dude, we're gonna get off topic, but I think Antonio Pierce should be the coach of the Raiders.
Yeah,
I think
so do
100%.
Yeah,
I think
so do
that's
I.
it. But yeah, I think so. Speaking of San Diego, and this came to my head here. Where do you think it's Kellen Moore going to get an
He's been
opportunity?
interviewing. I don't know. We'll see.
Has he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he interviewed for the job in L.A. I know that. So I guess we'll see. It's possible. We haven't talked about Bill Belichick yet. What do you think happens with him?
Again, I think he's kind of like I said with Pete. I think he's going to end up somewhere with an established guy like a Herbert or not Tennessee. Do you think, mate? You know what? I think like a dark horse could be like Tennessee,
That
just
would make
because it's
sense.
like a young quarterback that he's not established yet, but like what good he did with Brady. You know what I mean? Tennessee would be stupid not to extend an interview to him. You know what I mean?
I will tell you my most dreaded Bill Belichick spot.
Oh, I think it's the same.
It would be either it's here in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
what I was thinking because
Yeah,
I
because
want him here.
no, I don't.
I
Want
want him here,
at all.
baby.
No, I don't want him here. One, I don't think we're gonna get off topic again. We're gonna keep fucking doing
It's
this.
okay.
But I don't think Nick Sirianni should be fired. One, two.
Oh man, here we go. Oh man, you're pushing my fucking buttons.
Two, I think Bill. So first of all, Jeffrey Lurie is more than likely at least going to like look into the Bill Belichick thing because that dude has a hard on for the Patriot way, and
I mean, I do too. They win 6 Super Bowls, man.
Yeah, but what the fuck has he done since Tom Brady is gone?
What the fuck does that mean?
He hasn't been.
Dude, I'd be all right if we won 6 Super Bowls and we took a little bit of time off. Like I'd be like, okay.
Let's be real here.
Whatever,
like,
we suck again. Like, it's okay. We won 6 Super Bowls.
He is nowhere the same fucking coach he was with Tom Brady. And let's be real here. We just fucking talked about it. He is one of the worst drafters that we've seen.
That's what would scare me away.
And he wouldn't work here because Howie Roseman is our GM. Do you want Howie Roseman to lose his power to Bill Belichick? I would rather not.
I mean,
I don't want him here. I do not want him.
Okay, so I had this argument last week with a buddy. So Howie's working his way back in the good graces, but he has not drafted well. Like he's drafted well kind of recently, but like
his career arc, no.
We can always argue JJ over fucking
but dude, that was
DK.
4 or
we can
5
always
years ago right now.
Right. But you mean people don't forget?
No, I know, but like, look at,
you know what I mean? Like we can argue that,
right?
You know,
I don't want him. I don't want him here. I also don't want him in Washington because I don't want Washington to be successful.
Well, where do you? So wait, all right. So what does that see? So you
I
don't want
know.
him in Washington to be successful, but you don't want him here. So you'll think he'll be successful. He goes to Washington, but what do you think if he comes here? You don't think he'll be successful?
I just don't know if I want Bill Belichick here for the reasons I stated, but I also don't want him in Washington in the case that he does end up finding his footing. Do you see
I
what I'm saying?
think, yeah,
Like
but
I
I
don't
think if he comes here, I don't think he gets the same, um,
leverage.
run. Yeah, I think Howie has solidified himself as, the guy here who makes the decisions. I think
I
that
could
if they fire Mister Fortune Cookie writer, aka Nick Sirianni, I think they'll say, hey, Bill, like you're going to be the head coach, and that's it. Like you're in charge of coaching, I'm in charge of personnel. Because you're right,
I don't
Bill
know if
Bel Bill
I don't know
Belichick
if
stinks at
Belichick's going to
drafting.
do.
He's
Yeah,
fucking stinks.
I don't
But
think he's
like,
going to want to do that though.
I mean, at this point, I have such, and we're gonna save this for a different story for a different time. So much disdain for Nick Sirianni right now. It's just
Hmm.
like it's like his corniness was cool when it was working, when it was winning, but now it's gotten so lame that it's like, okay, dude, shut the fuck up. Like it's I'm over it. Like you guys are getting ass blasted. You started off 10-1 and ended up 11-6. I'm done with that. So like it's not like it starts with me and like all this dumb shit. I'm done with it. I wouldn't
I,
mind Bill Belichick here. I think he brings a winning attitude, and I mean he's 16 wins away from being the all-time winning coach, or 17, 16, 17. That he's got to be doing something right. You know
I
what I
gotta.
mean?
I could see him either in Washington or the Chargers. And if
Yeah,
not the
and I
Chargers, if he doesn't end up in the Chargers, I think Harbaugh ends up with the Chargers.
yeah I think
I could see that.
Harbaugh's either Chargers or Raiders.
Yeah, but that's kind of it for the coaching conversation. I'll just throw this one thing out there: Nick Sirianni does not deserve to be fired. Let's just real
Yes, he
quick.
does.
Let's just real quick go over these playoff games because we got to get to our mock. Browns Texans is tomorrow, Saturday. Who do you got?
Okay, so we should have probably ended with this one because I think this is the most interesting and most evenly matched games.
It could be, yeah. But I
I
just went
think,
because it's the first one tomorrow.
yeah, no, I know. I think Joe Flacco turns back into a pumpkin at midnight. I
An
think
orange
it's
pumpkin, like they're
fitting. I think the Texans win this game. I mean, I think
yeah.
they're just, dude. I'm so impressed by them.
I think
I'm
D'Amico
so
Ryans
impressed.
deserves Coach of the Year.
Coach of the
There's
year,
no doubt in my mind.
absolutely,
Yeah, there's no doubt in
absolutely.
my mind.
It would have been harder to choose if the Colts had won
True, been a
because
playoff
Shane
team.
Steichen. Yeah, if Shane
Hmm.
Steichen would have been, but
Another really good
absolutely,
one.
yeah.
I got the Texans as well. Dolphins Chiefs is the next game, and it seems like that one's going to be in like a storm. Like I think it's like
I
negative
think
20.
where like is it going to be? Where the hell are they? Like some games are getting moved, some games are. There's so much going on. I'm like,
That would
it's
be
going to be.
such advantage for Miami if they move that game.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, but I mean that's what I don't get. Like they play. They play in Miami, whatever, their home games in Miami. But, like, I feel like every player has played in, like, freezing cold weather. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but like, say for instance, the Miami Dolphins were supposed to come to Kansas City in negative 20-degree weather,
I'd be super
and
pissed.
yeah, and then just like all of a sudden it's a dome game in like Cleveland or something.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's an advantage for them, and then Kansas City also loses its home field advantage as well.
They building a dome in Cleveland?
No, I'm throwing like a random fucking thing out there, but yeah, who do you got in that one?
Um, if everyone's healthy, I'm taking the underdogs. I'm taking Miami.
Okay, I'm taking Kansas City. I Miami really struggles against above 500 teams, and I don't think Andy Reid and a Patrick Mahomes team loses in the wild card round. I don't see
Right.
that happening.
But I think at the same time, I think Tyreek Hill comes out with kind of like a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
And
I
balls
mean,
out. Like, dude, he's been in the MVP conversations.
mhm,
So I definitely
could
think,
be
but two has got to be on his game.
the script writers made this
Yeah.
an interesting weekend. The next one we got is Steelers Buffalo. That's another storm in
That's
Buffalo.
going to take me 4 seconds to answer that, and that's Buffalo.
Yeah,
Buffalo
I think
wins.
so, especially without TJ Watt.
I mean, even with TJ Watt, I think they still win.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Watt's just like a difference maker, though. It's hard to,
of course.
It's hard to say they wouldn't win with him. You know what I mean?
Steelers have been like such the like, oh, but they make the playoffs and they get fucking creamed every single goddamn year. And it's like they sneak in ass backwards every year, and then they just get blown out. I can't stand the Steelers.
I think George Pickens goes off for 100 and a TD. Next game, I do
throwing out hot takes left and right.
I think the next, I think the Bills.
Wait, 100 for with who? With Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer?
Dude, have you not been paying attention to what Pickens has been doing with Mason Rudolph?
Well, wait, Pickett. Yeah, no. I'm thinking Pickett. No, Rudolph. No, they all stink. Their quarterback room stinks.
Yeah, I think Pickens has looked better with Rudolph than he has without him.
Yeah, I mean, so does Santa Claus, but what's that mean?
That doesn't. Anyway.
Packers, Rudolph, Santa Claus, you get it?
Yeah. Packers, Dallas. Who do you got?
Who do you think I got?
The Packers.
I'm going upstairs. Yeah. I'm going upstairs, and I'm going to make the biggest cheese sandwich. The biggest Wisconsin cheese. Dude, you know what? As a matter of fact, hold on 1 second. I'll tell you who I got.
I don't know what he's pulling out here. Okay. Oh, that's a nice jacket.
It's a 4XL if you want to buy it.
Yeah, I was a little afraid what you were pulling out there. This is PG.
Dude, I'm going Green Bay all the way, brother.
Yeah.
Green Bay all the way.
This would be huge for Jordan Love's dynasty value if he goes in and beats Dallas.
Absolutely.
I'm on Jordan Love's, Love train. But
Pause.
I think if he were to win this, I think that solidifies him in the top 12 quarterback conversation for dynasty value.
Yeah. You got the choke artists as always with the Cowboys, and Mike McCarthy, who some people think he's like relevant. He hasn't won they're like, well, you won a Super Bowl. Yeah, like what, like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, with like, as much as it pains me to say it, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Right.
Yeah, no. Dak isn't as well. You know what? Dak's been playing well, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. So
right. The next game
go with the upset.
Yeah, you got the upset. So do I. The next game we got, the scriptwriters got this one too. The Rams Lions. I think the Lions win.
That's going to be good. I'm going to go with the Lions as well. Do you think Stafford sticks it in the heart of the Lions?
That would be so funny. I could definitely see it happening, but I think
it's in Detroit, right? Yeah, it's in Detroit.
Yeah, it's in Detroit. I think Detroit just has too much firepower for the Rams to keep up with.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I could be way wrong because it would not shock me if Matt Stafford pulls a rabbit out of his hat.
Right, because he just likes to sling the ball, and he's been relatively decent at that his whole career. So,
and their Lions defense is not really like they're good. I don't,
Yeah, and this, you know what? You got to look at it like this way too, Matt. This is a home game for Stafford. This is a home game.
Yeah, true. I think the Lions, though. You got the Lions as well.
All right, yeah, we're both taking the Lions, but I think it's going to be close. That's going to be one the second must-watch game, I think.
Yeah.
Behind Browns and Texans.
Last one we got Monday night, which sucks. Eagles Tampa.
I'm going to take the Eagles.
Yeah, I'd take them too. I really think they do win this one. Although if AJ Brown doesn't play, I'm a little nervous.
I thought they were going to win the last three. So
sure, but AJ Brown not playing might.
Why wouldn't he play?
He didn't practice all week. He didn't practice today either.
We're talking about practice, man. Not a game. Not a game.
True. It make me a little nervous if you don't play, though. If you don't play this week, I'd be a little shaky.
I think that stuff kind of gets you all, scared and like nervous. Man, it's a playoff game. I think his finger could be hanging off, and he'll glue it back on, put it in a glove, and get out there.
I hope you're right. Listen. It makes me nervous he hasn't practiced all week. It makes me nervous he didn't practice today. If he would have practiced today, I would have felt a little bit better. But the fact that there's a possibility they could go into Tampa Bay with fucking Julio Jones and Omalaz Zaccheaus as the number 2 wide receivers, I'm going to freak the fuck out.
Number one, I got 2 points for you. Number one, according to Javon Hargrave, the practices are bullshit anyway, and we both knew this. With their pretty much walkthrough, practices have been bullshit. Number 2, Julio Jones had 2 goddamn touchdowns last
No,
week.
we're
You
not
put
doing
some
this.
respect. You put some respect on that Hall of Famer's name. All
I
right.
Yeah, whatever. I think they win though. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, but then again, we always think they're gonna win. So I hope
true.
so too. But like, I'm just so deflated by them. This year
Right.
has been one of the most deflating years for the Eagles I've ever seen in recent time.
Right. All right. You want to get into our mock draft? Our
Yes,
mock
sir.
dynasty rookie draft. Let me pull
Yes,
up the
sir.
screen here. Give me a second. Okay. So right now you're going to see on your screen the first round of our rookie rookie draft. It's not coming up very quickly, so let's hope this comes up. If not, I'm going to be very upset because I
It's
could.
on my screen.
It is on your screen.
Yes, sir.
You could see it on yours because I cannot see it on
Yes,
mine. So I might
I
have
can
to
see it
pull it
on
up.
mine.
All right, I might have to pull it up different. Look at it a different way. But so Rich was given the pleasure of the 101, and then I had 102, and Rich had 103, and then so on and so forth from there. Rich, do you want to talk about your 101 pick in this super flex rookie mock draft? This is also tight end premium. Who did you take at the
Yeah.
101? And people could see it there, but let's talk about it.
So I'm taking Marvin Harrison at 101. Marvin
Okay.
Harrison Jr.
Oh, I can see it on my screen now. That's cool.
We talked about it pre-show, saying, where would I personally take him, and where my team lines up now. So I have 2 awesome quarterbacks, I think. So I'm taking Marvin Harrison, but again, I'm taking him over anyone. I think he's a generational talent. I
Okay.
think his points are going to be there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I have to take him, dude. I feel like I would regret more if I pass on him than I pass on Williams.
Okay. Now, do you like the landing spot I gave him of Arizona?
Um, I mean, it's not ideal, just because
Mhm.
I think Kyler is kind of like a wild card, and I'm gonna pull up a mock draft just to see kind of where the top teams are, or the top of the draft is.
They're at 4.
They're at 4. I don't think he makes it to 4 personally, but
I do. With
Arizona,
the teams that need a quarterback ahead of them.
yeah, but we got stupid teams ahead of them like Washington.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Uh,
I don't. It could.
so you
I
like the
mean,
landing spot a little bit?
eh, eh. I think he could end up somewhere better. I think, as much as it pains me to say it, I think Washington would be a better spot for him to land than Arizona. But
Yeah. I think Washington needs a quarterback, though. So at the
yeah,
102, you gave me the luxury of getting Caleb Williams. I have him mocked at New England. And so that means New England will move up from the 1-3 to the 1-1 to grab Caleb Williams from the Bears. I think that's a strong possibility that happens. And I would like that landing spot a lot, especially with, a new coaching staff there. I like Caleb Williams in New England.
what do you think? Let me ask. What do you think it would take for New England to move up? Like, what kind of package do you think?
Probably something maybe a little bit less than what Carolina gave up to get the 1-1 last year. I think they're
Okay,
going to have to throw a 2024 first in there to move to the 1-1. Which if I'm
2025.
Chicago, or 25, yeah. If I'm Chicago, I'm 100% taking it because, New England's not going to be good again. You know what I mean? They're going to be bad. Even
Right,
with a new
right.
coaching staff, a rookie quarterback, it leaves, it's in the realm of possibility that they're not good. And then Chicago's at the top of the draft again. And then if Fields isn't it, they have another shot.
Right. Okay.
All right. Who do you got at 1-3?
1-3. I have Drake May, and I have him go to Washington. If they're smart, they take him. He's the second best quarterback on the board. Um, he's a pocket passer. He's just if at a 2 quarterback league, you got to take him. You got to take the top
Hmm.
guy, top quarterback there. If Marvin Harrison's not on the board, you take him.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk pick by you at the
Yeah.
1-3. I think he could have easily been, the 1-2 and Caleb being 1-1 and then,
Hmm.
swapping with Harrison. But, you still ended up with a quarterback in Harrison. So I think that's a slam dunk pick by you. The next one I have is Malik Neighbors to the Chargers. Now I know I said I have Rome ahead of Neighbors, in our wide receiver rankings last week, but I cannot pass up a top 6 pick with a quarterback like Justin Herbert at the helm, with a guy like Malik Neighbors with
Who's been
not
starving for a wide receiver? Yeah.
they're starving for a wide receiver. I couldn't pass that up. I had to take him here to the Chargers, and I think that's probably the perfect landing spot for Neighbors,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and a perfect fit for the Chargers as well.
Right, and you know what? You're taking him ahead of Rome, which makes sense because then again, it also comes back to the type of play and the type of competition they're facing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we've both seen Rome Odunze come up small in the national championship game.
Had a
I
decent
mean,
game.
he had a decent game, but then again, it's a typical Pac-12 type of game. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like it's always when you show up against the biggest competition, they come up small. So I like Neighbors there. I like Neighbors ahead of Rome Odunze. So yeah, I can see him going there. And with the nursing home they have out there in LA of Mike Williams, who I just drafted in the 14th round, and Keenan Allen, he could shine out there.
Yeah, and the lack of Quentin Johnson being anything. At 1-5, who'd you take?
He's not my guy. I traded him already. I traded him. I washed my hands of him, dude. He's done. That guy stinks.
Who do you got at the 1-5?
1-5. I'm taking Jaden Daniels. Atlanta is, like we talked about earlier, is like starving for a quarterback, man. They are like a playmaker away at the quarterback position to being like, oh shit. You know what I mean? And the NFC South is such a terrible division that that is like a rookie quarterback could separate that. A rookie
Right.
quarterback, that's how terrible that division is. A rookie quarterback could separate you from the pack. By excuse me, mid burp talk. by a couple wins, dude. I think that quarterback could take you to winning the division handily. And what better quarterback to take than the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah, I think that's another slam dunk pick by you. I really wanted to take him at 1-4, but I couldn't pass up Neighbors. But Daniels, being the dual threat quarterback that he is, and the talent that's going to be around him, and hopefully a really good coaching staff, I think this is a really good, possibility he could end up being better than Drake May.
Okay,
I think that's a possibility.
Ooh, I feel like they have two way too different playing styles. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they do. But for fantasy aspect,
yeah,
I think Daniels is better than Drake May, if that makes sense, because of the dual threat
the
ability.
rushing.
I think Drake May can do a little bit of the dual threat stuff, but he's not anywhere near what Daniels
almost
is.
Almost like a Trevor Lawrence type.
Almost like
he
it's
can throw.
Almost like it's last year with C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson. I had them Richardson 1, Stroud 2 because of the rushing upside of Richardson.
Right.
With the next pick at 1-6, I took the tight end 1, who's probably going to be a top 5 tight end as soon as I actually spelled his name wrong in here. His name is not Brock Rowers. It is Brock
Bowers.
Brock Rowers. It's like Scooby-Doo talking. Jeez, I suck. This is why I can't be in charge of graphics or anything like that. Yeah, I got Brock Bowers here going at the 1-6, being a first-round pick by the Indianapolis Colts. I think that is a really nice landing spot for him because they do not have
a tight end.
Good tight end. They haven't had a good tight end in years. And I think someone like Anthony Richardson will feed him the ball. And in a tight end premium league, he could have been top 4. But I really like Brock Bowers here.
Yeah, he hasn't dropped a pass. I think he is the most sturdy tight end that you can get by mile. And if you have a premium, of course, take him. Dude, you're going to score. You're going to score. Yeah. You're going to throw him the ball. And, I mean, like you said, slam dunk pick.
Who do you got next at 1-7? This could be a little bit of a hot Hot take.
hot, a little bit spicy.
Mm.
I think Keon Coleman. I could take Keon Coleman at 1.7. I think Keon Coleman has the ability to be the second best wide receiver in this draft. Bookmark
Okay.
it, clip that, clip it out, clip the clip. I think he's going to be. He has the ability to be better than Malik Neighbors. I think it's going to be Harrison Coleman Neighbors. When we look back, when it's all said and done, the rookie year, going to the Tampa Bay Bucks, you have Mike Evans who is on his way out, which is a goddamn shame. They should
Mm.
have thrown that man the bag because he's the most underrated wide receiver I think we've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in my opinion.
My opinion. Yep. Mine too.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we're going to see Mike Evans move on from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I
And
think so
Keon
too.
Coleman could step in, kind of the same frame. He's a big body guy. He makes wow plays. He's got some things to work on, but I think he is going to be, the guy there if they
Mhm.
take him. It's a perfect
Yeah,
spot for him.
I definitely agree. I wouldn't take him this early, but I can definitely see him being a slam dunk first round pick in Tampa Bay. I
Mm-hmm.
would probably have waited a couple more picks, but I like it. I still like it. My next pick is Roma Dunze to the Chicago Bears. I think that's perfect. I think he is a guy for Justin Fields that can get open, just similar to a DJ Moore, but he's a bit more physical than DJ Moore. Um, a go up and get it type of receiver.
Okay.
I really like that landing spot in Chicago, and I think if they move back, they're going to take a wide receiver in the first round. They have to. They
Now, what
absolutely have to.
do you think that does anything to DJ Moore's stock or?
I mean, it could. It would definitely be weird to see Justin Fields with two very talented wide receivers. We'll have to wait and see if he could be good enough to spread the ball around that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Cole Kmet was a very viable option. He
Yeah.
was a very good tight end this year, so it leads me to believe that Roma Dunze could be, still very good in a Chicago offense.
Okay.
Who do you got
Uh,
next? This was even spicier than Keon Coleman for me.
so 1.9, dude. It's a tight end premium.
Right.
We're gonna take Jatavion Sanders. He's a big fella, 6'4",
Yeah.
243, dude. But he
Mm-hmm.
catches the damn ball. He
Mm-hmm.
catches the ball. You know what I mean? And between Brock Bowers and Sanders, there's a huge fall off after that. So you kind of got to go up and get the guy, especially if you have so at 109, you're looking at your team and you got a pretty well structured team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what are you missing? And what am I missing? What am I missing for the past 20 years I've been doing fantasy football? It's the tight end position, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm taking if the top tight end ain't there, I'm taking the second guy. And at 6'4", 243, at hands like, one of the top guys that doesn't drop the ball, I'm taking him. I got to take him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
I mean,
there. And since he doesn't have a tight end, they don't have a
no, they
tight
don't.
end.
They don't. I could see them taking him, and this is what I have him mocked in the second round to Cincinnati, and I like that landing spot as well. So let's get into my next pick. My next pick is Michael
110.
Penix. Yeah, is Michael Penix to the Raiders. I almost said the Las Vegas Raiders, or I almost said the
You would have been correct.
Oakland Raiders. Yeah, I almost said the Oakland Raiders. But I got Michael Penix going to the Raiders. I gave him a first round landing spot. It's a very possible he may have dipped out of the first round now that he didn't have the best showing in the championship game. But to me it's very possible that he still gets it because the Raiders really desperately need a quarterback.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like it's typical Pac-12 football there for Michael Penix, who I mean, it makes sense. When we were talking off air about this, I feel you said Michael Penix to the Raiders. The first thought I had was Jamarcus Russell. So I'm like, yeah, that kind of the same build. So I don't think me personally, I don't think the Raiders go that route with him. But I mean, I guess he's worth the flyer. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the
I'm
Raiders
kind of like
definitely.
I'm really weary on him.
Yeah, I mean it's after his past showing. I think it's possible that to be, or it's valid to be weary, but
Right.
I think it's the league is starving for quarterbacks,
Right.
so I could see that happening. All right, who's your next pick at 111?
111, I got Brian Thomas Jr. Big body guy, 6'4", 205. This guy, he navigates the open field, which is great, which is hard for rookie guys to figure out. And he tracks the ball well. But I feel like Baltimore kind of needs a guy like that. You got Flowers out there who's good,
Very
and
good.
Bateman who's always hurt. But this guy could come in and really solidify and make an impact for Lamar. Just another target, a big target, dude. He's missing that big target. Mark Andrews always seems to be, dinged up. I think this guy could come in and really make an impact for them, especially because they're not missing anything on defense. So it's like
Mhm.
you can go out and get the shiny toy. You know what I mean? You can go out and buy
Yeah.
the Ferrari. So with 111, I think Brian Thomas would be a good fit in Baltimore.
Yeah, that's why I mocked him there. I'm not the biggest Brian Thompson guy, but they need that kind of wide receiver, that big
Mm-hmm.
body,
Yeah.
vertical threat. And I think that would be perfect for Lamar, who's got an extremely strong arm.
Right.
With my next pick, with the last pick, I took Troy Franklin to the Bills. Absolutely love that landing spot. Love it.
Is
He
this
was
an
my
heir apparent?
Yeah, for Gabe, probably. I do think they need more weapons in Buffalo, especially the wide receiver position, because who knows what happens with Stephon Diggs, who knows what
Mm-hmm.
happens with Gabe Davis. I really like Troy Franklin. He was my top. He was number 4 on my top 10 wide receiver list from
Okay.
last week. I think he's a very good vertical threat. I think he can run almost every route available. Super twitchy guy, somebody that can get open for Josh Allen. Love it. It was hard for me not to even take him earlier in this draft,
Right.
but like I knew you weren't going to take him because you had him so late. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to let him keep falling and get the
Let him
little bit
fall
more
right to
value.
you.
Yeah, so it worked. It worked out perfect. I feel like we're going to get a lot of hate on this mock, but we'll see.
Hey, dude, it's early, dude. It's
Yeah,
early.
it's very, very, very early. But yeah, that's our 2024 Superflex tight end premium mock with landing spots that I just randomly threw together that I thought make a little bit of sense. How'd you like this exercise, Rich?
I do. I liked it. I wanted to find out where my guy Xavier Weaver would land. I'm trying to currently look it up now, but where do I think he lands? I don't know. Maybe second, third round. I think he was kind of a guy that I wanted to throw in there just because I think he could throw up points in Dynasty. But yeah, it's a good exercise, especially this early, because we're getting left and right, and we didn't even talk about the guys who we originally thought, in Mbuka and
Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson, who were like today that we
Going
had to
back to
call an audible, and we're like, we got to kind of shift away here. But
originally this was a 2-round mock, and then it just like a lot of things kept changing, and
yeah,
a little bit of technical difficulties. I was like, let's just get to 1 round because, like, first of all, you and I are not most technologically savvy people.
agreed.
So for me to
My
even be
notes are
able
on
to,
a notepad. Like,
for me to even be able to do this kind of graphic that we have in front of us is wild, and it's not even that good looking. Like, there's people out there that have this, looking a lot better, but I tried my damnedest. All right.
You made that in Mario Paint.
All right.
No,
Well,
but I guess that'll wrap it up for us here at the Dynasty Dogs, brought to you by Win Daily. You can follow us on the X at dynastydogrich and at dynastydogmike, and we will talk to you again next week.
later.